I never imagined this day would become a point of no return. A normal morning, a usual route, the same thoughts in my head. My son and I were waiting for the bus when he suddenly looked at me intently and quietly, yet firmly, said, "Sit in the back seat." I looked at him in surprise. He had never asked for anything like that before. Usually, he didn't care where to sit, but now his tone left no room for argument. "Why?" I asked. "Just do it," his voice was serious. The bus arrived, its doors creaking open. Inside, there were already many people, but the back seats were still available. I obeyed, though an uneasy feeling began to grow inside me. A few minutes after the ride began, I drifted into my usual thoughts: grocery lists, work, planned calls. Absent-mindedly, I went through my mental to-do list without even looking out the window. Everything was normal until my phone buzzed in my bag. A message from an unknown number. I froze for a second before unlocking the screen. Who could this be? I wondered, but when I saw the text, a chill ran down my spine. "You don't know the whole truth. Look around." I instantly lifted my head, scanning my surroundings. Was someone watching me? My heartbeat quickened. The bus seemed normal, people scrolling through their phones, listening to music, staring out the window. No one seemed out of place. But the feeling of unease kept growing. I'll take a short pause. Write in the comments where you're listening from. Have you ever experienced something similar in your life? Share your stories, I'd love to read them. And if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Now, I continue. I hesitantly swiped my finger across the screen, opening the message. Maybe it was a mistake or just some spam. These things happen sometimes. But as soon as I read the first few lines, a chilling sensation spread through my body. "I miss you. Last night was unforgettable. When will we meet again?" I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I read it again. No, it can't be. My eyes instinctively moved down to the previous messages. There were pictures, not explicit, but too personal. Too familiar. It was my husband. My body felt weak, my hands trembled, and the phone nearly slipped from my fingers. I wanted to tell myself this was a mistake, some ridiculous coincidence, but every word, every phrase in that conversation pulled me deeper into a sinking abyss. The bus suddenly braked. I jolted, quickly locking my phone and taking a deep breath. I needed to compose myself. The doors opened, and someone stepped in. At first, I didn't look up. Every part of me refused to believe what was happening, but something forced me to lift my gaze. And then I saw her. A woman. Young, well-groomed, a faint smile on her lips. She didn't even glance around, almost as if she knew exactly where she was going. And then our eyes met. I don't know if she recognized me, but her smile faltered. She slowed her step slightly, but then continued walking further into the bus. Breathing became difficult. My intuition screamed that this was not just a coincidence. My heart pounded in my chest, but I forced myself to stay calm. I had to understand everything. I couldn't look away. She sat not far from me, slightly to the side, pretending not to notice me. But I knew, she had seen me. The tension in her shoulders, the way she froze slightly, the deliberate avoidance of my gaze. My heart pounded so hard, it felt like the whole bus could hear it. I looked at my phone again. The messages hadn't disappeared. They were real. Just like her. Last night was unforgettable. A sharp pain shot through me. The bus jolted slightly, and at that moment, I saw my son looking at me. Not just looking, he had already figured it out. I quickly turned toward the window. My mind was racing. How could I have been so blind? Flashes of the past started resurfacing on their own. Missed calls, unexpected delays, his smile when he thought I wasn't watching. The signs had been there all along. I glanced at the woman again. Now she was typing a message, her fingers moving quickly across the screen. Who was she texting? Him. I gripped my phone tightly, trying to stay in control. Should I confront her? Stand up and make a scene? No. I wouldn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I did something else. I typed out a message and pressed send. I know. The woman flinched. She stared at her phone, then slowly turned her head toward me. Our eyes met. The bus kept moving along its route, but for me, everything had already changed. In one moment, I ceased to be the woman I was before. Now I knew the truth. And she knew that I knew. Write in the comments what you think about this story. What would you do in the heroine's place? Have you ever experienced something similar in your life? Your comments mean a lot to me. I read every single one and truly appreciate each of you. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and leave a like so you don't miss the next thrilling stories. Have a great day. And if you listened until the end, write in the comments, now I know.